Welcome to the show. I'm Danella, and here's what's happening now. The NRA, well, they're debuting in political pop. Also, thinking about hitting a little Netflix this weekend and chilling? Well, it's going to cost you more. We're going to talk about how much. Also, have you ever found yourself just having a good daydream? Then someone puts their hand in front of your face and they're like, hello, hello, hello. Earth to Danella. Yeah. Well, if you're that person waving your hand, I'm going to tell you why you should stop doing that. And also, we're going to talk about why daydreaming is actually good for you and how to make daydreaming work for you. But first, let's talk about one of the biggest breaches. It's not the biggest, sadly to say, that would be Yahoo. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Equifax breach. And here's the thing. If you follow political pop, we talked about it this week. You know, the former head of Equifax, Richard Smith, he testified in front of Senate. Yeah, they had him there as a witness. It was interesting because here's what I discovered. I don't know why I didn't notice this, is that when a credit bureau actually has a credit breach, a security breach, then they win big. Right? So we're looking at the stock market. We're seeing their stock go down. We see value in their department go down. However, they still make tons and tons of money. Yes, that's what Elizabeth Warren said. I love her. So Senator Elizabeth Warren, she was actually talking to Richard Smith, and she let him have it. I want to tell you a couple things that she said. She said, Equifax is making money, millions of dollars off its own screw up. That's what she told Smith. In fact, here's what Smith said in August. I didn't know this. Smith said in August, fraud is a huge opportunity for us. It's a massive growing business for us. How big? They're set to make money tenfold. That's how big. And what Warren feels, right? Senator Warren feels that the entire industry should be transformed. She feels that the heads of these industries, when you have some kind of a breach, not only should they be penalized, they should definitely be penalized, and they should be held accountable for that. So let's talk about the ways in which Equifax is winning big off of their screw up. So first, they're going to make money off all of the consumers, right? It's going to be two major ways. First, its own credit monitoring product, right? Because of course, if you are hacked, the first thing you're going to do is keep checking your credit. So yeah, they make money that way. But then also, they have a partnership with LifeLock. So those of you that use LifeLock, yeah, Equifax is getting money off of you as well. They're getting a portion of the money as well. So yeah, again, Senator Warren says, we've got to change this industry before more people are injured. And I completely agree with her. Yeah, so now that's going to lead us into political pop. We're talking about politics, so let's get into it. So here's what's happening. The NRA, I know you're following this ever since the mass shooting in Las Vegas. What a tragedy there. Biggest mass shooting in our country. I feel it's domestic terrorism. I know others disagree with me, but yeah, so ever since this has happened, of course, obviously, one of the biggest things that we're all talking about is some type of gun control. It always comes up. Now, the NRA, interesting with the NRA, they've never been on board, with any type of gun control. Obviously, they're the NRA. So as this been unfolding, you've heard about the bump stocks. I was unfamiliar, but the idea of a bump stock, what it does is it takes, a weapon that's not automatic, that's semi-automatic, and makes it perform like an automatic weapon. Yes, and that's what the shooter had. And so now the NRA is saying, hey, we agree. Bump stocks should be subject to additional regulations. So when it first started to come up, of course, everybody that's for gun control was saying, we need some type of reform. We need to do something. Then all of a sudden, the White House said, hey, we're open to review the U.S. policy on, what's being called the bump stock devices, right? And then now the NRA is saying, we agree. There should be some type of regulations on this, because for this shooter to go in and what he has in his car, 1,600 rounds of ammunition in his car, he was able to go out and buy 33 guns, and this signals no red flags. we definitely need more regulations. And that is your political pop. Yeah, so we're talking about your weekend plans. A little Netflix, possibly Netflix and chill. I gotta let you guys know this if you are customers of Netflix. They're raising their prices. We'll talk about how much right now. So if you have the plan, the monthly plan of $10 a month, that's the HD plan. It also allows you to have 2 different internet connection devices. A lot of us are gifted that plan. And some of you are paying for it. So if you're paying for it, I'm laughing because we're gifted that plan. But anyway, if you're paying for it, it used to cost you $10 a month. Now it's going to start costing you $11 a month. Hey, if you're a big baller, you got that $12 a month plan. That is the ultra high definition or 4K video. That's going to cost you from $12 to $14. And if you have their basic plan that costs you $8 a month, you're lucky. No increase for you. It's going to continue to cost you $8 a month. Now, the new prices are going to be emailed to you on October 19th. You'll have 30 days to say yay or nay, keep it or get rid of it. And that's what's going on with Netflix. Also in the news, did you guys notice this? I've always kind of heard about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I never really think that you can vote for them. So I wanted to give you this information in case you're interested. A couple nominees, all musical genres. We're not going into all of them. I'm going to just tell you a couple that stood out to me. Bon Jovi, The Cars, Depeche Mode, Judas Priest, LL Cool J, Rufus and Shaka Khan. Also, I want to tell you a couple of first-time inductees, possible inductees. So first-time possible inductees are Nina Simone, Eurythmics, Radiohead, and Rage Against the Machine. If you like any of them, voting is from now through December 5th. And to do it, all you have to do is log on to rockhall.com/vote. You can also vote on Facebook if you're interested. And if you do that on Facebook, you only get 1 vote a day. Now, let's head into In Our World. We're talking about daydreaming and how to make daydreaming work for you. So first, we're going to talk about the benefits of daydreaming. There's 6. This is courtesy of care2.com. I really enjoyed this because I'm guilty of this. I'm also a victim of this, but I'm guilty of this, where you're just relaxing and you're daydreaming, and then someone just comes in front of you and goes like this. And now I'm relatively a new mom. My son is 2 years old. Sometimes it's nice to just sit and have a quick, relaxing daydream. And I swear, especially my nephew, I don't know if I think I mentioned this on the show before. My nephew, he's 22. He's staying with us. He lives with us, part of the family. He is the family. And I swear, he is, in college. Those college kids, whippersnappers. And so he's always like, Auntie, where are you, Auntie? I'm like, just trying to relax in my mind. Anyway, I'm going to tell you why you should do it. So first, we'll talk about the benefits. Did you know that 47% of your waking hours has been devoted to daydreaming? That's amazing. And so the fact that your brain does this shows you that it's actually good for you. At least I think so. So we'll talk about the benefits according to this recent online report. So first, improves memory. So this happened in 2012. There was a study that came out. What they did was they asked the contestants or the participants in the study to do a very simple task. And then afterwards, those who reported greater amounts of mind wandering during that very simple task were able to do a memory test following the task and perform better on it. So, again, we'll think about this. You're doing a very simple task. And then you're just doing that simple task. And in it, you're just letting your mind wander and drift. Following, you get a memory test. And those people perform better. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So number 2, let's talk about how it boosts your creativity. So evidence shows that most creative ideas arrive in moments where you're actually not focusing on the task at hand, but you allow your mind to wander and you focus on something else. And I can tell you this for a fact, that is definitely true. I've worked, like I said, in television and in radio. Anytime I would make up a skit or a song or idea, it's interesting, like we're always planning like what's going to be on the next show. And so we're sitting there, we're focusing on it. And then sometimes you just let your mind wander and you get like the great idea. And then that's even funnier and more creative. And there's actually a study to prove this. This happened at the University of California. So what they did was they had a group of people and they told them to think of unusual ways to use a common item. So let's say, for example, a brick. So think of unusual ways to use a brick, right? As opposed to the common way of using a brick. And so what they realized is that they had those people write down that list first, all of the ways. Then after that, they then gave one group a difficult task. Then they gave another group an easy task. So then after they did the easy task or difficult task, they were asked, can you think of unusual ways to use this common item? Again, we're going with the idea of a brick. Do you know that the group who had the easy task performed higher than the group who had the difficult task? Yes, they actually increased their creative abilities on the second list. And how much better? Well, 40% better. That's because the people that had the easy task actually were daydreaming. And they were able to be more creative the second time around. So let's keep going. The next benefit, number 3, enhance social skills. Now, I didn't know this, but we think about social skills such as empathy, compassion, finding meaning in relationships, right? A lot of those skills are located in the part of the brain that's responsible for daydreaming and imagination. So using that part of your brain, daydreaming, will help you be better at having social skills. It'll help you be more social. And there's a lot of research behind this. They're saying that social media has been found to reduce children's ability to relate to others and feel social emotions. However, it seems the more time that children are allowed to daydream, the more they are able to feel compassion towards others and find personal meaning from their relationships. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. The fourth benefit of daydreaming is that it strengthens self-control. Now, they have studies that find that when you daydream, you increase your ability to delay immediate gratification, right? And then you can wait longer for something that you want. So for some reason, they've done a lot of research on this, and they said that what they found is that if they allow the participants to daydream, they're able to hold out on getting a reward such as money or a tasty treat much longer than the participants who aren't allowed to daydream. And it seems that letting your mind drift helps you be more constructive about your life choices. So in care2.com, they challenge you to do this. I'm actually going to do this week because I have something that I'm trying to figure out. But what they say is this: the next time you're faced with a dilemma, and the dilemma is immediate gratification, right, for now, or wait a little bit longer and have a slower but bigger reward in the future. When you're thinking about that, which way you should go, they suggest taking a break from it. Don't think about it. Allowing your mind just to daydream. And then they say you'll be surprised that you'll find a new solution to the dilemma that works for you. And a lot of times that solution is delaying the immediate gratification for the bigger reward in the end. So we only have 2 more to go, 2 more benefits to get through. Number 5, allows for future planning. Obviously, I think this is the one we all know, because think about how many times you think about what you're going to do before you do it. Let's say you have a job interview and you might play through the interview in your mind, like, okay, I'm going to go in. They're going to ask me about, why do I think I'll be good at this job? And, you're playing it through your mind, and then you go in and you get the job. So number 5, I think we all can relate on that. And we'll move right along to number 6. It increases productivity. Now, this one I think is really interesting, and we're seeing this a lot, I would say, with the fidget spinners. A lot of the kids will use this fidget spinners, and that is, keeps their mind on this easy task so they can focus on something bigger, which is maybe what the teacher is teaching. So I was shocked about this. A vast amount of the technology that we're using, let's say the phone, the television, actually clogs our minds. And I'm also guilty of this. It's funny because last night, as I was prepping, I knew I wanted to talk about this for the show. So I said, let me try this. Normally at night, I'm in the bed and I break out my phone and I'm going through everything. I'm writing lists for myself of things that I need to do. I'm thinking about what I haven't done. Sometimes I'm also guilty of this. Everybody's asleep, and it's my time to play a relaxing game. Don't judge me. I'm just saying I don't have the time during the day. So sometimes at night I'm like, okay, I'm just going to play this game for about a few minutes. Maybe another show I'll tell you what the game is. But it's true. This is what I do. And so what they say is that when you do that, you don't give your mind the time to calm down and do the natural house cleaning that it needs to make. You're overloading your mind with thoughts and ideas. So what they suggest is at night, never using your phone before bed. And I know so many people have said this. I know you've heard this because sleep studies even say this. You get a better night's rest without using your phone. But they actually say you'll have more brain capacity by putting down your phone and letting your brain do what it naturally does. Remember at the beginning when we talked about the benefits of daydreaming, we talked about how 47% of your actual awake hours are spent on daydreaming. It's necessary for your brain to rejuvenate itself. And now we're going to talk about how to use daydreaming to your advantage. And so what care2.com does is refer to what Carl Jung says. Now I know you remember him, right? High school, college, psychology class. Yes. Well, here's what he suggests. Now, before these steps are super easy, there's only 4 of them. But before we get into them, it's important to say that when you're incorporating regular daydreaming into your day, right? It's important for you not to give into negative thoughts. That's the most important part. So as you're allowing your mind, you're purposefully saying, I'm going to just give myself some time to think about whatever my mind thinks about. Avoid those negative thoughts because that's going to be counterproductive for you. So now when we talk about how do you do it, how do you include regular daydreaming into your day? The first step is find the right time. So this should be a time when you're alone, you don't have any major demands, you can sit comfortably or even go for a walk. It doesn't have to be, where you're definitely meditating. It can be, maybe you got time at your desk or maybe you're eating lunch alone, maybe you're sitting in the park, just anytime you're comfortable and relaxed. Find the right time. Second, guide your mind into imagination. And the way that they suggest this is ask yourself like a question. It could be a question just to kickstart your mind. It could be a real one. It could be a hypothetical one. Hypothetical could be, okay, $1 million just landed on my doorstep. What am I going to do with that? Because as your mind starts thinking about, well, what would I do with that? You'd be surprised at where you go. You might be able to find your life mission. You might say, oh, I might use that money to blank. Yeah. The next step you should do is briefly record your daydream. And the reason this is suggested is that if you jot down these few notes, you can draw a picture anyway. This is going to help you make the connection between your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. And that's the whole point. Okay. And then final step. This may be the hardest. Repeat. That's it. Do it often. Give yourself time to daydream. Let your mind wander. Take notes so that you can make that connection from your subconscious to your conscious mind. And then that will allow you to take advantage of daydreaming. Now, before we wrap up the show, I cannot leave without asking you to continue to pray. And I want to say for our world. Right now, we're still praying for the people of Puerto Rico, the millions of people. Children are out of school. There's still not electricity. There's still flooding. And I want to pray for all of us to continue to pray for the people that are the workers in Puerto Rico. We're seeing people opening not only their hearts, their pockets. They're doing what they can to help the people there. So we're going to continue that they can continue to pray that they can continue to do the good work. Also for the victims in Las Vegas, for the family members of the tragedy there. Also for the people that are in the world that are hurting, just because anytime there's a mass shooting, anytime there's a violent death, a lot of time those of us that have had family members murdered, it reminds us of that pain. And so I just know that if you are a prayerful person, now is the time that we must continue to unite our prayers together, because I feel that not only are we hurting, but we need to fight against fear and finding that strength outside of ourselves, that strength in our higher power the strength of love from the ultimate source of love, will we be able to fight the fear and the hurt. So as always, thank you so much for joining the show. I hope you have an amazing, wonderful weekend, and I will see